Have you ever made a decision and only much later realized it wasn't really yours? Not because someone forced you, but because someone quietly, skillfully reshaped your inner world until you arrived at their conclusion on your own. There's a moment like that. Everyone has it. You sit there, looking at your life, at the job you chose, at the relationship you ended up in, at the city you live in, at the words you repeat as if they're your own. And suddenly, a quiet, uncomfortable voice inside asks, did I actually choose this? Or did someone choose it for me? This isn't paranoia. It's awakening. Because real influence, deep influence over your decisions, never shows up as an order. It comes quietly. It shows up as care, as advice, as love, as common sense. And by the time you notice it, it's already been living inside you for a long time. Today, 6 signs. Not abstract ones, real ones. The kind where you'll recognize yourself or someone close to you. Sign number 1, you constantly explain your decisions to one person. The invisible permission slip. Here's what it looks like in real life. Megan is 35, a marketer, an independent woman who's been supporting herself for over a decade. But every time she made a decision, big or small, she called her mom. Not for advice, for permission. New job? Call mom. Haircut? Call mom. Moving to another city? A week of anxiety because mom won't approve. One day, a friend asked her, what do you think about it? Megan opened her mouth and froze. She didn't know. She had spent so long filtering herself through someone else's reaction that her own voice became silent. Here's the first sign. You can't make a decision without checking it through a specific person. Not because you need advice, but because without their approval, the decision feels wrong, unsafe, incomplete. That's not love for the person. That's dependence on their reaction. And the deeper question isn't, why are they like this? It's this. At what point did I decide my own inner compass wasn't trustworthy? Sign number 2, your desires strangely match someone else's. The mirrored desire. This one is subtle and the most disorienting. Jake met Brandon at work. They became close friends. After 2 years, Jake noticed something strange. He started listening to the same music as Brandon, getting interested in the same topics, having the same opinions about politics, relationships, the future. He thought, we're just similar. But one day, Jake went on vacation alone for the first time in years. And there, in the silence, without Brandon around, he realized something unsettling. He didn't even know what music he actually liked, what he actually thought about those topics. Because for so long, he had been thinking someone else's thoughts, that his own had dissolved. Here's what's happening. When someone around you is charismatic, confident, or authoritative enough, you start unconsciously adjusting your desires to match their worldview. Not because you're forced to, but because being in sync with them feels like safety. Check yourself right now. Are there desires or beliefs in your life that appeared after you got close to a specific person? And would they still exist if that person weren't around? The first 2 signs are about how influence gets inside you. But sign number 3 is about how it keeps you there. And it works very differently. Sign number 3. When you think about a different choice, you feel fear. Fear as a leash. Savannah wanted to quit her job for 3 years. 3 years. She hated it. She woke up every Sunday with anxiety, just thinking about Monday. But every time she considered leaving, a voice appeared in her head. Her boss, Richard. The market's tough right now. Who's going to hire you without experience in this industry? Do you even realize how many people dream of this kind of stability? Richard didn't hold her with chains. He just planted fear in advance, and that fear now lived in her mind, doing his job without him. This is one of the most powerful forms of influence. To make a certain choice feel dangerous, not to forbid it, just to fill the very thought of it with anxiety. The sign is simple. You think about an alternative, and instead of neutral analysis, fear flares up inside you. Not your natural fear of the unknown, but a specific, ready-made fear. As if someone already wrote the script for why it's dangerous. Ask yourself, is this fear mine? Or was it placed there by someone specific? Pause the video. Think about a decision you've been postponing for years. And ask, whose voice do I hear when I think about it? Sign number 4, someone knows more about you than you told them. The map they drew of you. This might sound a little unsettling, but listen. When someone intends to influence your decisions consistently, they study you first. Your triggers, your fears, your values, your dreams, your wounds. Lindsay met Kyle at a personal growth seminar. He seemed incredibly insightful. He saw her. He said things that made her uncomfortable because they were so accurate. I feel like you weren't appreciated as a child. You're the kind of person who gives to others, but doesn't know how to receive. She thought, he's so emotionally aware. But later, she noticed something else. He used that knowledge to manipulate her decisions. He knew she feared loneliness and hinted at it whenever she thought about leaving. He knew she valued being a good person and appealed to that whenever he wanted something from her. Insight is a beautiful quality in a person, but there's a difference between someone who sees you to be close to you and someone who studies you to control you. The question is, does this person use what they know about you to help you grow, or to keep you where it's convenient for them? Sign number 5, after talking to them, you always change your decision. The decision eraser. This one is very concrete, measurable. You make a decision. You feel confident about it. Maybe it took you a week of thinking. Maybe it was something you've been moving toward for a long time. Then one conversation with a parent, a friend, a partner, a coworker. And after that, the decision fades. Doubt appears. You start over. If it happens once, that's normal. A good conversation can open new perspectives. But if it happens consistently with the same person, that's no longer an exchange of ideas. That's the erasing of your decisions. Tyler was an entrepreneur. Every time he made a business decision and shared it with his father found a reason why it wouldn't work. Always. Without exception. But he did it so logically, so out of care, that Tyler went back to zero every time. 5 years later, Tyler realized he hadn't launched a single project to completion. Not because the ideas were bad, but because between the idea and the action, his father's voice always stood there and took away the momentum. Count it. How many of your decisions have dissolved after conversations with a specific person? That number says more than any analysis. And now we reach sign number 6, the most unexpected one. Because the person who influences your decisions most invisibly is sometimes not who you suspect. It's the one you love the most. Sign number 6, you make decisions to avoid disappointing, not because you want to. Love as a navigation system. This is the most painful sign, and the most honest one. Ashley got an offer for her dream job in another city. Higher income. Everything she had been thinking about for years. She was ready to say yes. But then she looked at her mom, at how she would cry, at her sister with kids, whom she helps every week, at her boyfriend who would say, "If this job matters more than us, then decide. And Ashley turned it down. The official reason. I'm not ready yet. The real reason. She couldn't handle someone else's pain caused by her happiness. This is the quietest form of influence. Not through pressure. Not through manipulation. Not through fear. Through love. That you start using as a compass instead of yourself. When the most important criterion in your decision is no longer what do I want, but who will be hurt if I do this? You're no longer living your life. You're managing other people's emotions instead of your own destiny. And the hardest part, you can't even be angry at them. They're not pressuring you directly. They just exist. And their existence alone becomes enough pressure. Pause. Watch this moment again. Is there a decision you've been postponing because you're afraid someone will be upset? Name it, at least to yourself. 6 signs. 6 different ways someone else's will enters your space and becomes yours. Without force, without shouting, without control. But now I want to tell you something that might feel uncomfortable. The problem isn't only the people who influence you. The problem is that inside you, there's something that allows that influence to exist. An empty space someone fills. An uncertainty looking for external support. A fear that needs permission from the outside. And that's not weakness. That's being human. It's something all of us carry, but awareness of it changes the rules of the game. 3 questions that bring you back to yourself. First, if this person never knew about my decision, would I still choose the same? If the answer is no, the decision was made for them, not for you. Second, did this fear exist before this person entered my life? If not, it might not be yours. Third, when was the last time I did something that didn't require anyone's approval? If you can't remember, that's already your answer. Here's the paradox I want to leave you with today. You can't completely isolate yourself from other people's influence. And you don't need to. We are shaped through relationships. That's human nature. Some of the best decisions in our lives are born in dialogue. But there's a huge difference between being inspired by someone and replacing yourself with someone. Inspiration expands you. Manipulation shrinks you. Real advice brings you back to yourself. Someone else's will pulls you away from yourself. You have the right to make decisions that no one likes. You have the right to want things no one around you understands. You have the right to live outside the script someone else wrote for you. Your life is the one thing in this universe that truly belongs to you, and the decisions in it should sound in your voice. Write in the comments, which of the 6 signs resonates with you the most right now? Which one feels like your life? No need for details, just a number, or one word, or even just yes. If this video touched something you didn't have words for before, hit like. If you want this truth to reach people who need it, subscribe, because this series continues, and each next video goes deeper. I'm here, and I'll keep talking to you for as long as it's needed. See you in the next video.